Welcome, and ladies and gentlemen, to a very exciting start of the season for UNC League of Legends. My name is Blake Orpodso, and right next to me is the amazing and wonderful Ryan McDad. Ryan, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I've come out of meetings, and it's time for fun. I'm ready to start off the League of Legends season with a bang.
Absolutely, and a banger we have. UNC is going to be playing the University of Delaware Esports. We are going to be having a best of one today. Is the very start of I believe we are in NACE. Is this NACE or is this CLOL?
I think it's the CLOL fall warm-up, but don't quote me on that. I could be wrong.
Okay.
It's happened before.
It is some type of competitiveness. Regardless, it will be a good match. Only a best of one, like I said. And we are going to be hopping into draft. This year's varsity has some new faces from last year, namely that of Jimmy Coy, who, if you were watching any of the tryouts in the past few weeks ago, you know how much of a monster he was throughout every single day of the tryouts, but we have to see how well he fares against the University of Delaware.
The new freshman mechanical genius in the jungle will be taking Castellan's spot from last year, who you may remember took his turn in the jungle, now down into the support role. As we see bans coming into multiple lanes. We see a Darius ban, which is not what you expect to see. Hecarim and Seraphine a little bit more standard, and Blitzcrank ban getting rid of that jungle Blitzcrank. Don't wanna see anything too tricky today.
Everyone knows the infamous jungle Blitzcrank. But something that was notably left open was the Aatrox. Ryan, I don't know how much you've been keeping up with Worlds, but so Aatrox currently has a 100% pick ban rate.
Is it? I think it's fallen to like 95%.
Well, that's basically 100. That's basically 100.
I think 60% win rate across the boards.
Yeah, Aatrox
playoffs or play-ins and groups. So Aatrox, a very powerful pick right now, being left open for Rami Baba to take over the top lane.
And Rami does like the aggressive bruiser type of champions to be able to wail on the other enemy top laner. But the other top laner with Murata is going to be locking in the Ornn and the Tristana for the second pick. Tristana, that's an interesting ADC pick. We don't normally see that in today's meta, but can definitely be a very big threat if you do not keep it under wraps. Jimmy Coy going to be hovering and locking in the Bel'Veth. No. They bamboozled me there. Took the Aphelios instead. Another semi-off meta ADC, but a little bit more meta than Tristana.
Yeah, a little bit more meta, and we have seen that paired with the right support, Aphelios is still a powerful pick, especially once he gets to those red-white don't fight. We've seen a couple plays at Worlds if you've been keeping up. Some people not heeding the call, allowing some flashes, some tricky plays. Looks like Bel'Veth is going to be picked up, so another champ. This is looking like a pretty Worlds draft right now. It looks like our team is opting to follow the pros, and that's something that I'm not too worried about.
No, not at all. Jimmy Coy, very comfortable on the Bel'Veth as well, something that he is played a lot, like I said, during tryouts, and I'm sure they have scrimmed quite a bit with it. Just because, I mean, it's still one of those champions that people don't really know how to play around just yet. They know just don't let her stand still, and then you are playing it right, or be able to stun her and keep her CC'd long enough to be able to blow her up. But the last pick of the first round for the elite Okami is going to be Trundle, presumably going in the jungle, unless we see some Trundle support, as we have seen that a few times. You be able to get those early cheeses, but the Lulu ban could be the first one of the second round.
Lulu, one of those champions that's very easily able to power up that Aphelios, get him through the laning phase, but that does still leave that Thresh on the table. Thresh, not a champion that we see too often anymore. Lots of nerfs went his way, but still very powerful with the Aphelios. It gives him a very crucial movement opportunity that can pull him out of a bad fight and allow him to take what would normally be an unfavorable, risky trade.
Also, some other champions who Delaware might want to keep out of the hands of UNC to keep the Aphelios safe, namely Tom Kench, who is very, very good. Similar to the Thresh, gives the Aphelios a get-out-of-jail-free card if he does find himself out of position. The Yuumi has seen less and less traction over the past few weeks just because of nerfs and meta changes and everything, but it is still a possibility. with this so far. Could go with either side. I like it on the Tristana a little bit more just because she's the type to get in and get out with the jump reset. But we'll have to see what Delaware do opt to leave for their final pick. I would think it would be mid lane to just be able to see the entire enemy composition, but we could see support, or they might pick something that they could flex mid or support to keep that even more wide.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an Orianna hover, which I don't hate. There are a couple opportunities to jump in with that ball. We have the Trundle, we have the Ornn, so there's two beefy boys that can get into the mix and be that ball delivery system. But this leaves open the opportunity for a counter pick. Kersey, I might see him picking up the Azir here. We have seen a lot of prevalence with Azir in the recent days. It's a champion that if he feels comfortable on it can take over the game at multiple different points. So something that I'm...
He's a prophet.
You ask it, and it comes.
He's a prophet, man. Yeah. I was thinking more of the Akali just to be able to try and blow up the Orianna because that is something that Kersey is also very, very good on, very comfortable on. But the last pick for UNC, Castellan, not sure what the support he will go with is.
Lots of things taken away. I wouldn't mind seeing the Thresh. It might be a little bit of help. I wouldn't also mind seeing a Shirelia's user right now to really enable Kersey. It looks like we're going to see the Leona pick. Another thing, don't hate it. Leona Aphelios, maybe not the first image that comes to your mind when you're thinking of a bot lane pairing, but there are certain stages through the Aphelios gun cycle where Leona can enable him to one-shot and get those sunlight procs over and over again. Especially if Aphelios has that onslaught, then he's just pinging Leona's sunlight, pinging it, and just hitting through so much damage. We do see a Braum pick, which may invalidate that big Aphelios ultimate, but all in all, I don't really hate either team's composition.
Yeah, the Leona pick for me, it's just a very odd one with the Tristana because she is able to buffer the Zenith Blade. So if she does see herself about to get hit by it, can just jump away, and Leona just not able to really do anything. It's like the Blitzcrank and Ezreal like interaction. If Ezreal times the Arcane Shift right, it just nullifies the rocket grab completely. But I do like this Braum pick a lot for the side of Delaware because you have so many ways to proc this passive. You have the Tristana, you have the Trundle who's going to be up in their face. You have the Ornn even who is going to be able to get those off very quickly. So it is going to be up to Z-Score to be able to hit that Winter's Bite Q and then just the auto attacks just onto the correct people, namely this Bel'Veth and the Aatrox. Because even, I believe it's either 1 or 1.25 seconds of just stun after the Braum passive that can easily make the difference between a teamfight win and an ace. So
yeah, I'm going to be watching out for that Trundle to be pathing into the bot lane. We see that there is an Aphelios without someone who can really enable him too well. Leona is a bit of an offensive support, not really so much for the peeling and getting Aphelios out of a fight as much as like a Thresh Lantern would have been or a Lulu Shield. And with that Trundle pillar, it's going to be something that can really easily shut down that Aphelios movement. So we will be focusing on Cypress and hoping that he can get out of those sticky situations because I'm expecting that Trundle will be walking down a lot. As far as Jimmy Coy on the Bel'Veth, I'm probably expecting a little bit more of a farm focus there. Bel'Veth is an interesting champion that is looking for 1v1 fights, but can also get into points near the mid game where she can come online and get those resets. An interesting tidbit that I heard today, one of our Lord and Savior LS's rants is the rant against Conqueror Bel'Veth. Prage for LS. Churches on Sundays. So I do hope that we will see the Jimmy Coy Bel'Veth opting into that lethal tempo because Bel'Veth's E does not stack Conqueror in the same way that it stacks lethal tempo. So if you're getting the Bel'Veth E and it hits every hit, then you have your lethal tempo set up and you're able to start getting those overheal procs, getting those triumph procs, and it enables you to get in once you can get your first Void Coral reset. Conqueror, on the other hand, takes a bit longer to get to that point where you're healing, so the idea is that you can just sit there and sit on the lethal tempo, and then you're doing more damage, and your shield bow's giving you the healing anyway. So maybe that can balance out. So we'll see what runes he goes into, hoping for a bit of lethal tempo, but Conqueror is also an option that a lot of people opt into. So we'll kind of see what happens there.
Yeah, we will have to see if Jimmy Coy is a disciple of the LS Church or if he is a non-believer against the University of Delaware today. But we are going to go into a short break to get everything sorted out with the spectator delay. Don't turn off that browser. UNC Esports will be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the first game of the League of Legends Varsity competitive season. We've got a banger of a game between UNC Varsity and University of Delaware Esports. My name is Podslim. We got Ryan McDad on the color today. Ryan, tell me what you're expecting for these first few levels.
I just really want to watch Kersey do that Azir lane domination. I want to see him get through the lane. It would be very cool if he could do that. It'd be very cool if he could somehow come out with a lead. Orianna's a very safe champ. Azir is a very safe champ. So it's not really one where you can predict what'll happen, but I'm really hoping that we see Azir taking those early trades. We see that he does have Airy. Airy is a good option for Azirs who want to get in a little bit of poke and then just back away and not deal with it anymore. And when you're playing against an Orianna who also has that Airy because she wants to do a little poke and back away and not do anything, it's just the nicest way to rack up a little bit of damage. We do see the Jimmy Koi Conqueror, so he must have missed Sundays. It's tomorrow.
He's a non-believer.
I'm in the special church, so I got to see it a day before Saturday service.
Nice. You went to the midweek Wednesday service, extra early. But something that I think is also interesting is we do see Cyril opting for the cleanse instead of the heal, which is normally normal for ADCs going up against the Leona. It's sort of just paying that Leona tax. Not really many other uses for it. Maybe the Aatrox for the W, maybe the Aphelios whenever he uses his purple gun. But other than that, cleanse is not really going to help too much outside of this lane, but in this lane we have to see how well it pays off.
Maybe a little bit of an interesting choice, maybe a lack of confidence, since Tristana does have that opportunity to buffer and jump away from things, so maybe just not fully certain that he has the confidence to jump away from those items. But we do see that the level 2 is coming through in the bot lane, which means the early trading is happening. Aphelios finally getting his first ability online, his only ability, the ability to be a character. Now online up until level 6 when he gets his next ability.
He gets another way to be an actual champion.
Yeah, but we did see that both junglers did path towards the bot lane, so we kind of see the visions coming true. That traffic cone will be coming to the bot lane soon to pillar off Aphelios and try to get a free flash burned away. So what's going to be really crucial in these next couple seconds, as Trundle is already looking for the lane gank, is just the way that Cypress can manipulate this lane and try to make it so that Trundle, who has snuck in unannounced, try to make sure that he doesn't get more than he deserves.
Yeah, we could also see the bot lane of Delaware Esports try and bait out the Leona engage, so she does use the Zenith Blade into Rami getting poked up a little bit, taking down to under a third. That Orin, surprisingly, a lot of damage for a character with only a Doran shield, but surprisingly a lot of damage in this mid lane as well. Kersey pushing the Elite under his own turret. Might force an early recall if he does get any more damage onto him, but for the time being, every lane being nice and cordial with one another, not starting any fights. Perfect way you want this to go.
And do you see that Trundle is being tracked? So after he walked up to mid lane, he was pinged by Kersey, who had the knowledge that he was there, probably predicted after that walk from bot lane. So no sums blown in bot lane, no sums blown in mid lane. This is a bad moment for Trundle, because you normally like to get one free sum at least, but just a quick back, get that sheen, get back onto the map and see what you can get elsewhere. But
we see Jimmy Koi trying to go for this top lane gank, might force out something from this Ornn. Going to use the Unstoppable to keep himself alive. Under the turret, though, taking a lot of damage. Jimmy Koi going to have to flash out. First Blood does go over to the Bel'Veth. Trundle could be in a little bit of trouble. Jimmy Koi could be one auto away, and he does, and that bite goes down. 1v1, Rami and Trundle going to go, and the flash onto him. Rami Baba slain Dayuni, a 2-for-1 in favor of UNC.
Rami Baba making the sacrifice of his jungler to get that extra kill. A little bit upset that the first blood is taken away, maybe? Probably not. But 1 kill on the Belveth, 1 kill on the Aatrox, and that's going to be a powerful topside for the UNC Varsity as they begin to transition into the mid-game.
Rami Baba said, "Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice that I am willing to make." But yes, does get that early item advantage. Comes back with the Serrated Dirk and some Boots of Speed to Murata's double Ruby Crystal. Man has all the bling with those amount of crystals. But that does give Dayumi that sheen, so it does have some early item spike damage from him, especially with those chomps. We saw how much damage did to Jimmy Koi with the flash, and then be able to finish him off there. We'll have to see if this changes how Rami plays this matchup now that he does have double buffs and does have the item advantage.
I think the double buffs changes a lot. What I'm interested to see if Trundle is going to be willing to try to force an early dragon here. We see that he's walking into Jimmy Koi's jungle, just really willing to move with his mid laner and try to get a little bit of extra pressure onto Jimmy Koi's Belveth, who
Murata
has nearly double CS as Rami goes for the solo kill.
In a bit of trouble. The World Ender is popped. The Q is going to be dodged. Murata, my friend, you got in too deep. Rami Baba with the solo bolo onto this Ornn.
Yeah, this is really the power of Aatrox. We saw the Ornn trading coming out early, all those brittle procs coming through, racking up the damage, and then Aatrox looked a little scared for a second, but then Rami Baba said, "Wait a second, I'm the World Ender. I have double buffs. It's time to start pressing this advantage." So now Ornn 0-2, a little bit of a CS lead, but not enough to really make it matter against 2 kills in Rami Baba's pocket. This is going to be a very strong Aatrox as the game starts to progress on.
Delaware going to try and hopefully get this dragon. At least that's what they're planning on doing. Cypress is going to get the recall off. So if UNC can sort of stall it out until he arrives back into lane, he will have that item advantage, and they might be the ones to be able to take this dragon. But Z-Score is in a little bit of trouble. The recall is just, okay, I thought it was going to go through. Cernile is going to go back in, though. Castellan going to have to burn the flash, and that is a traffic cone, but it's actually going to block Trundle himself. So kind of shot himself in the foot by using that pillar there.
Cypress coming back. If he can do 6, then this will be a very strong fight for the UNC side. I don't know how close he is. Looks like probably not enough with how he's not just fast shoving the wave to try to get that XP, but this does force the side of Delaware to try to back, and this gives Jimmy Koi the opportunity to walk up into this mid lane and look for a gank on Orianna. Yeah,
Elite Okami does have the command shockwave, but the Trima shuffle it is, more like the Kersey shuffle. Okami forced to flash out. Ornn has arrived. Murata going to be able to try and take him. Call the Forge God is going to hit, and that is some big knockups. Goodbye, Kersey. But could we see a potential trade back? Jimmy Koi trying to get the kill on Okami. Does get the reset. And will he be able to survive 3 more? It is a 2v3. Jimmy Koi in a bit of trouble. Rami doing his darndest to keep him alive. Has popped the ultimate, but he is going to fall here as well. Doesn't have the flash available, and that is a 3-4-1 in favor of Delaware Esports.
Very scattered fight that should lead into the Rift Herald being taken for the side of Delaware Esports. That's going to be a lot of extra bonus gold and turret damage that goes to the side of Delaware. And it just looked like UNC maybe not with perfect comms there, maybe not knowing that Murata was heading down with that call of the Forge God to prepare Kersey. But I will give props to the Elite Okami. That ult just barely hit Kersey to pull him back into that call of the Forge God, which led to the CC chain, which spelled out Kersey's doom.
Yeah, obviously hindsight is 20/20. Maybe you should have just let Kersey die and just let it be a 1-for-0 instead of going for the trade back onto it. Because as soon as Jimmy Koi went in, it basically was saying, I am dead. But he didn't know that Z-Score was going directly to the top side. So if it had just been the 2v2, I do believe Rami and Jimmy Koi could have been able to turn it around. But as we were saying in Champions League, the Braum passive makes so much of a difference just to be able to stall. And Kersey maybe just hit the wrong button there. That could have been very bad if Dayumi was right there with the pillar. But both members of the bot lane for Delaware are going to be rotating up. Probably going to start this dragon soon. Kersey could be in a bit of trouble. Pillar is going to come out. Z-Score has arrived. Jimmy Koi is here as well. Knockup is going to land onto the Braum, though, and no blood is going to be shed. But Delaware rotating towards this dragon, which is only a mountain dragon, but when your team has the Ornn, a mountain drake is very good.
Rami Baba, we do see opting towards that Eclipse build. Already has the serrated Dirk in hand, as Delaware Esports is starting the Dragon Dance. Jimmy Coy and Castellan.
Ooh, as a big solar flare onto the Elite Okami, and Cypress going to get the kill there, and UNC going to pick up the dragon for themselves.
Multiple R buttons are pressed, including the true void form of Belveth coming out, as this dragon will easily be collected. No way to contest this without the Elite Okami. So what I want to see now is UNC's ability to just play disciplined until that next objective comes up. I don't really think that they need to make any pressure, except for maybe Rami getting a solo kill if Murata oversteps at some point, but I think that UNC is in an opportunity where they can just kind of wait and see what happens next.
Yeah, Rami saying, I'm going to be the one who's making the plays, as almost gets Murata to about half HP. Z-Score tried to dash in there and get the Braum passive, but misses it barely. Dayumi has walked into the lane. UNC do not know he is here. Might try and use this Herald down here just to get some extra money in the pockets of Cyrnile and Z-Score.
Another Trundle gank that could potentially happen, as Rami Baba is getting in that extra pressure. Unstoppable coming out from Ornn over and over again to stop that trade from going bad to worse. As Trundle does finally reset, as Jimmy Coy enters the bot lane. No chance to return anything. Z-Score also heading back. We do see that level 6 on both supports. Ultimates are back online, so just a little bit of red-white try to shove into the tower so that Cypress can look for a back. I wonder if he has that Gale Force available, or if he's just opting into a Berserker Cree's pickaxe buy.
Yeah, Dayumi's spending so much time in the spot lane looking for a play that has actually given Jimmy Coy the bonus momentum that he already is using. I mean, he does have that 24 CS advantage, has a kill and an assist more than this Trundle. And oh my goodness, Kersey doing what he has been doing the entire lane, and that is just poking this Orianna back under turret. Could he find the Stream of Shuffle? Does see the Trundle is here. Dayumi misses the pillar to do the knockout. Does hit the Chilling Smite, though, and doesn't know that Jimmy Coy is right here. That is a Belveth command Shockwave going to knock him back. The flash forced for Dayumi. No one is going to fall. Could see a potential 1v1 down here. Cypress is going to hit the root. Does pop the ultimate as well. White damage is not going to be enough to finish off this Tristana. Elite Okami walking the fine line between life and death as the Rift Herald is summoned mid lane.
Lots of ultimates, lots of abilities getting spent, all for no bloodshed. So a little bit of a nothing, but something that could amount to something in the later stages of the game. Within the next 5 minutes, that is a handful of flashes that are offline and a handful of ultimates that will be offline for the next minute or so.
Yes, this Ocean Dragon is going to spawn in a little bit over 2 minutes, as well as the next Rift Herald, who we will be spawning in, I assume, a little bit longer than that. Don't have the exact timer, but Murata doesn't have the Unstoppable to get rid of this W. Rami trying to get some trade damage back, but the Ornn does have that Sunfire now, so he's going to be a lot harder to kill than he was prior. Z-Score and the gang back in mid lane once again. Kersey going to dodge the Braum Q. Z-Score trying to hit something. Does have the Glacial Fissure if he wants to use it. Kersey going to burn the flash over the wall. And great job by UNC disengaging off that fight.
Disengaging with the long flash over the wall. I want to hone in on this Eclipse build, because one of the problems with it is that while you are able to bully Ornn early on, once Ornn gets that Sunfire, you're now building lethality into something where you actually need armor pen. So it makes Ornn a heavier wall against Rami Baba.
Z-Score wishing he had more armor right now. I'm going to get taking some poke damage right there. Nothing more going to come of it. Murata and Rami Baba still 1v1ing it up here. Does get that brittle proc off. There's the Eclipse damage you were talking about.
Yeah, Eclipse damage is still pretty hefty, so it's not a bad trade per se, and especially into the late game onto those squishier carries. Rami Baba's Aatrox is going to be dropping nukes that are just going to explode through HP bars. Just not exactly what you want in the 1v1.
Hit the Zenith Blade into it. The Moonlight Vigil is going to hit. The Glacial Fissure is going to be on the other side of it. Serial getting very low. 2 flashes and a Gale Force. Cypress going to slay this Tristana. But the Ornhorn is coming down on the other side of the map, is going to hit the second knock of Daimi. Hasn't used the pillar just yet. Rami is in a bit of trouble. The slow goes down, but the flash comes out anyways. It is now a 3v1 on this top side. Rami doing his darndest to get himself out, and he is going to escape the 3-man roam of Delaware.
Successfully Uncle dashes away and BMs for measure. No command shockwave going to be landed in this top lane, just barely dodged. The World Ender lives to see another day as Kersey pivots this momentum into a mid lane tower take and potentially a collapse onto Dayumi's Trundle in the mid lane.
Yeah, Daimi going to escape into the topside jungle, but as I was saying earlier, this Rift Herald has spawned and is going to be taken by UNC as Delaware looks to potentially trade it for this Ocean Dragon, which would be very, very beneficial to get some extra regen. Castellan does see this Braum, knows that he's there, and Kersey going to join as well. I don't think they're going to engage on this because they do see the Tristana in the bot lane, know that it is a 3v2. But the teleport actually does come out for Rami Baba. It doesn't have the ultimate. Jimmy Coy going to go in, and that is a 2-for-1 onto him. The Streamer Shuffle not going to hit, but burning some flashes nonetheless. Dragon under 50% HP, but does reset. Does suck for UNC. Takes them a little bit longer to take it. But Delaware going to be bullied off of this second Dragon, giving UNC more momentum towards the Soul.
UNC has had 2 very easy Dragon fights where they're just able to do a show of force and then bully Delaware back into their own jungle. Last time we saw that pick onto Alito Kami with Castellan's wonderful solar flare landing, taking down that life of Alito Kami. But this time, just not even needing a kill, just big, massive chunks of HP gone, and all of the ultimates are still on UNC's side.
Uh-oh. Pillar does come out, and the Glacial Fissure is going to knock up Castellan, who does use the Solar Flare as well. Chilling Smite and everything going to be used. Delaware throwing the kitchen sink at UNC just to try and get something, and all they are going to get is this support. But Cypress, I might have spoken too soon, could be in a little bit of trouble. The Shockwave doesn't hit somehow. I don't know what that was. Jimmy Coy going to pay nothing. Actually thought he was going to die to the Subjugate as well as the extra damage, but Ryan, I don't know how that Shockwave missed.
Command Shockwave giving Cypress a big ol' hug and not doing anything else, as Kersey's still able to shove in the bot lane. So it looks like it is going to be responded to by UNC. Rami Baba getting some damage in the top lane. Cypress or Kersey getting in the wave on the bot lane. Cypress being able to live means a lot of good things for UNC. That's a lot of ultimates used just to get one support kill, which 300 gold is something, but not really worth the price that was paid.
I guess in the eyes of Delaware, they know that there are no major objectives that need to be fought for just yet. Maybe this top turret, because they don't have their ultimates, will go down as we see UNC rotating up there, have Jimmy Coy and Castellan, who are sort of hovering in this river or near it. But yeah, I mean, all for a silly Leona. Cypress does have that bounty on him as well, so that would have been a lot more gold in the pockets of Delaware. Ooh, very cool interaction right there, but an even more interesting interaction is this Trundle, who's hovering in this Tri-Brush. Is just going to take the recall, though.
We also see that 2,000 gold and 2 dragons is enough for UNC to give objective bounties to the side of Delaware Esports, which means that any extra objective that's taken while they're down this much gold is going to be that much more impactful. So anything that UNC can hold on to, they need to try to hold on to pretty well. And if they're making a trade, it needs to be a heavier trade because those objective bounties will favor the side of Delaware Esports.
Uh-oh, does hit the knock-up, and Daimi has bode his time and is going to pay off for it. Rami Baba trying to get some health back. Does have that Conqueror up. It does have a lot. There it goes. And that is some big lifesteal, but it does use the blast go back over the wall. Daimi does kill him in the end. The teleport for the Alito Kami is going to come through. Kersey could look to pick off this Tristana. It does hit the Shurima Shuffle, and goodbye, my friend. Oh my goodness, trying to get the trade kill back onto it. A 1-for-1 across the map. I thought Rami Baba had just performed the move of the century right there.
We could hear it very faintly in the background. Cypress yelling, me, 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 as he Gale forces in to get the one singular hit to put 300 extra gold in his pocket. Kersey playing Azir, which is a bit of a supportive champion, and now setting up the most beautiful turrets that you love to see when you're a fan of Shurima. You get to see the Emperor's Sun Disc set up, taking over that extra turret, and just corralling Delaware into their own side of the map. This gives UNC so much pressure until that Sun Disc falls.
Yeah, and considering it is right next to a turret that is about to go down, it makes it that much more impactful. 4 members of UNC in this topside jungle for of Delaware Esports, and taking all of the minions for themselves. Jimmy Coy got knocked up by the pillar there, and Kersey is actually going to be smited. Might try and find something. Rami Baba does teleport, and the command shockwave is going to hit, and that is a big Aphelios ultimate onto everyone. The Glacial Fissure goes on top of it all, and there is so much going on, but Delaware Esports is the one to strike first, and the Orn Horn is going to sound, forcing the flash out of Cypress. Jimmy Coy and Rami Baba are going to fall for UNC, and Kersey might just be next. Dayumi could be in some trouble. The Shrima is going to go in there. Is it enough? Yes, it is. But Delaware are going to capitalize on a single Cypress who is bot. The shutdown going towards this Tristana. And there's a lot of blood all over the map. Delaware do come out on top, though, and then the 4-for-2 trade.
Something that just happened here is a lot of bloodshed. This was just a really messy fight happening across all different sides of the river. It didn't really look like there was too much cohesion. I'm sure that in the voice columns, everyone kind of gets the idea of what's going on, but running away down into that bottom river, multiple deaths happening, and it kind of evens out the gold, as the gold is now even, but for some reason those objective bounties stick around for just a little bit longer. Teleport coming in to try to capture this dragon just before the bounties go away.
Kersey has TP'd behind. I believe he does have the wall up once again. Is going to shuffle in there. Hits 2. Rami is there. The shutdown. The Belveth going to pick up the kill onto it. And oh my goodness, stole the Infernal Drake as well. UNC just cleaning up this fight nicely. Murata is in the middle of 4. That is not going to do him any good. Dayumi trying to get out. Rami might chase him under this turret. He's going to hit the knockups that he does. He gets the Eclipse proc. Misses that one right there. Could be in a bit of trouble right there. The turret does do a lot of damage. Rami, you are my friend. Have gone too deep. Dayuni going to pick up the kill for himself. But UNC, they kill 4. They get the Soul Point Dragon. And now they get this Baron for free. Ryan, this game has swung wide open.
Over and over, swinging back and forth. What was a good fight for Delaware kind of just got completely blown away at Dragon. We see the ultimate true form of Belveth coming out right now with those extra Void Remoras, which means that there's going to be a lot of pushing pressure with this Baron. Amping up those Remoras, which means that every time a minion dies around Belveth, there's just one extra minion that Delaware has to try to chew through. This could be a very powerful push for the side of UNC that should lead to multiple turrets.
We'll have to see if they can use it effectively, because there are no teleports up for UNC, so split pushing is a viable option, but you have to play it a lot differently than you would if there was a teleport. Rami's should be coming up within the next minute and a half, so will probably still be up, or will just come up as the Baron goes away. But we do see him in the spot side shoving out this wave. And everyone's sort of playing towards this bot side of the map because they know how important this next dragon is. If UNC Varsity pick up this last Infernal Drake, it is going to be a good night for Delaware. Dayuni trying to get something, but Leona just bonks him right there. Not much you can do with that.
Extra turret breaking down, and UNC is moving into a 1-4 position, allowing Rami to set up in the bot lane and allowing the Sun Disc to create that corral yet again. This time with extra little void fishies that are just doubling the power of UNC's pushing power, as all 4 of UNC's members are just standing there and chipping away at the turret, allowing the tower to take shots, allowing the Azir's Sand Soldiers to push in and just take extra chunks. Big hits are coming out over and over again from Kersey's Azir.
Ooh, and that is a big ultimate from the Aphelios, chunking out most of Delaware. But the Elite Okami is going to finally go back to the base. Him and Cyril going to have to go and get their health back. And UNC, after taking that inhibitor mid, just say, hey, look, Rami pushed out this wave. How convenient. and are going to be able to take this bot turret. There's a few minions there, Ryan.
Just a few, and a few of those extra melee fish pushing in, damaging the tower. We have the 5v5 dance, but with those extra Baron minions, it's going to be so hard for Delaware to repel this, especially without too many very strong ultimates that can force UNC to change their plan.
Yeah, these super minions from the mid lane are coming to the base very quickly. So if you thought this bot wave was scary, you just wait till you get that super minion crashing on your Nexus soon. Castellan, he's going to get the lock-in onto Z-Score. Z-Score with the Glacial Fissure on top of it. That's a big Oran Horn onto 3 members, but the Solar Fire does go down. Rama in the back line. The Shockwave is going to hit. Kersey going to use the Stream of Wall to push them back. Jimmy Coy trying to do something. Castellan going to fall. Dayun going to get the shutdown onto Kersey, but it's not going to matter. There is a 3-4-1 in favor of UNC, and there's a few minions, and I don't know if the Ornn and the Orianna can clear these minions fast enough. Flash is going to go over. Jimmy Coy trying to get the kill onto him, but Castellan is going to fall. Murata taken below 50% HP. Jimmy Coy doing so much damage, holy moly, and is going to push the Ornn back, and the combination of UNC and the minions going to knock down this Nexus in a sub-26-minute game. UNC Varsity take the best of 1 over Delaware Esports.
UNC very easily pushing that advantage that was given from the Baron. That one play, just right there, giving away that Infernal Dragon and dying is just the end of the line for Delaware, especially with that Bel'Veth, that extra power. That's the one champion that you really don't want getting that extra Baron pushing power, because there's just so much extra stats that are given over. Almost comparable to if there's like a split pusher with a hull breaker, which we haven't seen in a while, but who needs hull breaker when you have Bel'Veth's Remoras? Also that extra Baron amp just easily pushing down the mid lane. From there, it's just theory. You push down the mid lane, you let someone else add in some extra pressure in the bot lane, you set up the Azir turret. I mean, everything that happened there is just exactly what needed to be happened. There were some iffy moments that that one fight around the Baron side of the river, not going the best for UNC, but still being pivoted as Delaware bit off more than they could chew at the Infernal Dragon and sealed their fate.
Yeah, I do like how Delaware in that last fight were trying to do something. They were trying to be proactive. They know that if they wait for those minions to crash in the mid wave, they're just going to lose anyways. So they're saying, all right, let's do it before that happens. So if we pick them off here, then we can use that momentum to help clear out these waves, to reset, get some better items, and then try and fight for this Infernal Soul. Obviously, we didn't see the final dragon be taken for UNC to get that Infernal Soul, but the damage just wasn't there. They just weren't able to pick off the carries of UNC fast enough. We saw Kersey, who he did die in that last fight. But, I mean, I think you would take that trade all day, every day, your life for 3 of the enemy team. I think that's a pretty solid trade regardless of what game you are playing. But UNC just using that extra pushing power with the Bel'Veth and just the superior just lane dominance throughout all of it. I mean, we saw Rami Baba just be able to do work against Murata in the top lane. Kersey just poking the snot out of Elite Okami, just like you were saying earlier with that Aerie, just doing so much to provide that extra pressure. And obviously in the bot wave, trying to not let this Tristana get fed, because if the Tristana does get fed, then you have a lot more to worry about. But UNC just obviously stellar performance this game.
Yeah, I think that Delaware's downfall maybe came as early as that first play where Trundle wasn't able to get anything in the bot lane. UNC's bot lane playing so respectfully and so carefully, knowing that there could be a Trundle there, with the Tristana able to just jump on your face, or Braum able to give out stuns on stuns on stuns. There's so much respect that stopped them from losing any flashes, stopped them from losing any CS, and it kept them in the game. If that flash gets blown early, then Trundle's reganking for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that just didn't end up happening, which kind of threw a wrench into Delaware's plan. Also, Rami getting the double buffs at the top lane. At that point, I think what you have to do is you just say, all right, Ornn, you're on your own until level 13. We've got to make something happen with this Tristana, or else we're not winning this game. And in the end, nothing happened with the Tristana, who is that one main damage carry. That's who you really need to get a lot of damage. Like the Command Shockwave, it can do a lot, and Ornn is very strong in 1v1 fights, but those aren't who you're focusing on. And they just weren't able to get that Tristana ahead, so it didn't end up amounting to enough for Delaware to actually push back once UNC is taking those big team fights, getting in the Shurima shuffle, getting in Jimmy Coy into this true form, and then mixing up the entire team. Just not enough to repel it, especially if that Tristana dies early in fights.
Yes, you heard it here first. UNC Esports just playing this game to perfection, starting off the season 1-0. I believe their matches are the regular season for them is starting, I believe, next week, if not next week. Yes, okay, it is going to be starting on Mondays and on Thursdays. I believe the times we are going to be looking at is around 7. I think we are wanting to reschedule the first match for later, if I remember what Rami was saying.
Might be moved to 7:30 or 8. So maybe a little bit of a later stream on Monday. Thursday probably around 7, but all you need to do to stay informed is hit that notification bell so that you see when we go live.
Use your Twitch Prime sub.
Use your Twitch Prime sub so that we get money. Make a BeReal account. Hey, sponsor ! BeReal. You can learn a little bit about how to be real and show off your super cool life to your friends, because that's
what cool guys do.
Those other apps,
cool guys and girls,
not as real. They don't have it in the name. Be real, get our club a little bit of extra money, a little bit of a sponsorship. So
if you're not already in the Discord, join the Discord. So after you make the BeReal account, you can put your BeReal username in there, and we can be able to help provide more awesome stuff for you guys than we are already doing.
And then you can get more friends, and then you can show them how you're being real, and then you can be realer.
You can be the realist.
You can be the realist.
First
things
you
first.
can be a real one. If you if you help. Are we selling out enough?
Please,
please, Prage.
Please.
So we are being told that we do have streams every day this week. It is finally underway. We were curious about when seasons would start, but NACE has started. LoL has started. I don't think we are in any other leagues. But Mondays, League of Legends. Tuesdays is going to be Overwatch. I don't know if it's varsity or junior varsity, but Tuesdays is going to be Overwatch White. Is that the varsity or junior varsity team, Henry?
It's the white one.
It's the white one. Take that how you want. You said it, not me. But Tuesday is Overwatch White. Wednesday is Valorant. Thursday is Overwatch Blue. Overwatch Blue and League of Legends, depending on when the matches are. We will see. We will see.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And if we have to cut a stream short, then we will. We can make that decision later on. Fridays, CS:GO. We have CS:GO on Fridays, and then Sundays, obviously Super Smash Bros. I don't believe we have anything on Saturdays.
Nope.
Not yet, unless one of you has an idea, then we can think about it. But anyways, Ryan, do you have any final thoughts? Make a BeReal account.
Make a BeReal. And thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for tuning into the stream.